Friday Night Lights is sponsored by Astound, Members Choice Credit Union, and Hillsborough Ford.
It's spooky season, Sydney. We're here for our Game of the Week reveal. We are officially in double digits. We are at that point in the season. Week 10 is here, Sydney, and it's a very special week because Friday Night Lights is on Halloween. As you can see from our intro and the TVs behind us, we're going all out for Halloween this year.
We've got a spooky edition of Friday Night Lights for you this week. It's going to be so fun. When I talked to both head coaches for this week's Game of the Week matchup, they both talked about they're so excited to see people dress up and come out to the game. It's going to be so awesome. So we're excited to see it. We're excited to be out there. Can't believe it's week 10 already.
Yeah.
It feels like it because I am so tired, but also I'm it's flying by. How have we gotten to week 10 already? Which is just so crazy. So yeah, spooky fun on Friday. I can't wait. Maybe some spooky upsets.
Ooh.
TBD. I'm just ready to see it out there. I feel like Halloween games or anytime you're playing near a holiday, that can always be kind of a trap game for any team or anybody, just because your mind is so focused on other things. They want to go out, they want to have fun and celebrate Halloween. You can't do that until the 4 quarters are over. So see what can happen, but excited to see who's locked in and ready for this one.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to our Game of the Week matchup, which we're going to reveal, which we do have a Halloweenified hype video as well, which we'll get to in a second. Two very good teams going at it this week, both 6-2, and looking to get that upper edge in the division.
Perfect.
There it is, Sydney. We got Cobras Cove taking on Temple for our Week 10 Game of the Week. Again, both these teams 6-2, great matchup. I've had the privilege of watching a lot of Cobras Cove football, even last week, and they have a pair of really good running backs. But what is Cove going to have to do, Sydney, to kind of come into Temple and get things done?
Well, I like that you mentioned coming into Temple and playing here, because that's something that head coach Rodney Southern made clear to me. He goes, I've played and coached many teams in Wildcat Stadium, and it is not something to overlook. It is a tough place to play, and it's always going to be tough when you go against the Wildcats. But Cove, they've got a lot of energy coming into this game. They're coming off of a huge fourth quarter win. They were going neck and neck with Shoemaker. They came back in that one to go on and win it. The final score was 30-27. Shoemaker's a really good team. They're a really good club over there, and for them to have that kind of win was a huge statement. All offseason long, Coach Southern has talked about the return to standard. That's a motto that they've bought into time and time again. What does that mean? Well, he knows the tradition of Cove. He knows what it means to compete and to coach there. He spent time there coaching back in the 90s as a defensive coordinator. Now he's back with this program. A lot of these kids don't know how good Cove is, though. They didn't grow up with Cove being as great or as dominant. Some of these kids didn't even grow up in this area. They've just been here for a couple of years due to the military and their families moving around. But he says his guys are resilient right now, and the one thing they're not thinking about at all is where they're standing in district play.
The biggest thing, as soon as the game was over the other night, the first thing I told them, this does not secure a playoff spot. Some people will tell you 3 wins will get you in, but I think the circumstances are probably a little different this year. When you've got 5 teams vying for 4 spots, somebody's going to get left out. So, that was the first thing. And we don't talk a lot about at this point because I don't think it's necessary, because we got to win another football game. And this one's going to be tough, and obviously the last one's going to be tough as well.
Yeah, Sydney, and for Temple, too, another first-year head coach in himself, Coach Chad President, obviously a Temple star through and through. How is he going to have to get the team ready to welcome Cove, who is coming off of, like you said, a great fourth quarter win last week.
Yeah, they're going to have to be ready to attack early, and I think, Chad President knows that really well. That's something he talked about. His team's going to have to play fast on offense, and their defense is really going to have to settle into this game and slow down Cove early. They know the challenges that Cove brings, but that doesn't scare them one bit. This is a Halloween game. Coach mentioned he knows it's going to be a spooky matchup. He's so excited for it. Him and the other coaches are actually dressing up this week before the game kicks off, and he wouldn't tell me his costume, so it's going to be a surprise. Maybe we'll get a sneak peek that we can see on
What's
Friday
your guess,
night.
Sydney?
I have no idea, honestly. They could go so many different ways. It could be sports related. It could be spooky and scary.
My guess is a
no
minion.
Idea.
I want to see Coach
That would
President
be
in a
amazing.
minion costume.
We will see. TBD. Don't they have minions dress up in costumes at Temple anyway?
Exactly. That's why it would make sense. I've seen a minion there before.
That's what I thought. But, Temple, they've had back-to-back losses to Shoemaker and Midway a couple weeks ago. Since then have responded, winning 2 more games. The biggest thing about this game not only being on Halloween is the fact that it's also their senior night. These guys want to walk out of Wildcat Stadium their last time playing there with a win. You've got Baylor commit Jamarion Carlton. You've got quarterback Champ Mayo, Ramoon Brown, the wide receiver who just is a playmaker week in and week out. We watched him hit a game-winning shot in basketball. He continues to impress us with so many different key plays and catches that he makes in the game. He's just a star guy. And for Coach President, he knows the grit of his team and how much that brings them. I mean, just going back to Champ Mayo for a second, Champ was out for a couple weeks with an injury. And he said Champ worked every single day in rehab, Monday through Sunday. He was in there on Saturday, Sundays, on the weekends, making sure he fought to get back. And that was really clear. And he likes what he sees in his guys in practice. He says over the last couple of days they've really looked good, and he's liked what he's seen. He says you win the game when you start in practice, and so going into this matchup, they know that they've got it cut out for them, but they like their chances.
If you kind of look at it, the Shoemaker game for both of us, it kind of swung either way. Unfortunately for us, it swung in Shoemaker's way, and so I think you just kind of take it for what it is, and we've kind of put that behind us, and we're just kind of focused on finishing the season, kind of that win or go home mentality right now. And so our kids understand that. They understand there's a sense of urgency right now. So do our coaches, and so everybody's just kind of on board and on the same page about going 1-0 this week.
Yeah, Sydney, I really like what Coach President said about that. It's that do or die mentality. We're in week 10.
Yeah.
It's that point in the season. And Temple is kind of in that situation right now. And they're not the only ones. There's a lot of other games going on this week that also have that do or die feel to them, Sydney. So what can we kind of look at this week as far as matchups go and how the standings are shaking out?
So right now in the district that Cove and Temple are in, the 6A Region 2 District 12, you've got Harker Heights, who's undefeated in district play, so they're sitting on top of the standings right now. You've got Midway, who's 3-1, Cove, who's 3-1, Shoemaker, who's 3-2, and Temple, who's 2-2. It's a tight race right now, and that's leaving out Bryan and Clean, who are at the bottom of the district standings. So if only 4 teams get in, you're looking at a neck-and-neck race where Temple has to win this game, but also you have to hope Shoemaker, you
got to hope for some help.
Yeah, you're gonna need some help too. It's in your hands, but it's also not totally in your hands. So this game is so important. It's important for the playoffs. It's important for district standings, like we had said, because then that would make it if Shoemaker wins and Copper's Cove loses, Copper's Cove and Temple would then be tied with the same record in district standings.
Yeah, and then it's all chaos next week.
It's all chaos. So we'll just have to keep following it. But
even at the top there, I mean, Midway barely lost to Harker Heights.
Yes.
That is literally a field goal separating them at the top.
That's why games like that are so important early on in the season. You're like, well, why is that the game of the week? Look at how that affects later down the season. This district always has the action. This is the best soap opera you could tune into right now, is how are the district standings going to shape up and what's going to happen. But you mentioned some of the other big games going on this week. So West Man, those guys are on fire. The Trojans over there, 7-1. Their only loss coming to Robinson to kick off the season. They take on Grandview, who's 6-2 right now. That one kicks off at 7. Going to be a really good matchup. China Spring, Lorena, Connolly, they're all kind of in similar positions towards the bottom of their district standings right now, so every win matters between those teams. China Spring, Lorena, they go head-to-head this week. That'll be an interesting one and could have huge district standing implications in it as well. Obviously, our game of the week, Copper's Cove versus Temple, going to be a good one. Axtell takes on Bosqueville. Axtell 6-1, Bosqueville 7-2.
Axtell fresh off the allegations.
I know. So we'll see how they come out
they're
and
be
play because they had a bye week this last week. So
gonna be fired up.
Yeah. Harker Heights and Shoemaker, same district. Now these two are going head to head.
Yeah, Shoemaker. That's gonna be.
Oh my gosh! Like so many of these games could have been our game of the week this week, and I just cannot. I know we stress it every single week, but truly, it's just such a dogfight week in and week out with these teams. And Brenham and University going head to head. Brenham undefeated, 8-0, one of the only undefeated teams left across the state of Texas, and they come into Waco ISD. They'll take on University. A really big test for the Trojans. Like we said, district play. This could have huge district implications on it as well, because if you hand Brenham their first loss of the season and their first district loss, like that could change a lot in their standings as well too. And then Robinson and Gatesville. Going to be a really, really good one out there, too. Robinson and Gatesville kind of vying for that second place spot in the district standings, as La Vega's currently undefeated in the district standings. But same picture overall. Those guys fighting for the playoff spots. Like, the story is all the same right now. But yeah, so many good games. It's going to be really, really fun to watch and to see.
I volunteer as tribute to go to the Brenham game.
Okay.
Hopefully they'll bring some Bluebell with them on the way up to Waco,
and
I can snag some of that before they take the
Might
field.
have to put in a special request.
Yeah, just go ahead and hook up a Bluebell trailer to the bus, and we'll get that going for us. Sydney, I think we're in store for a crazy week.
I don't even know how to pick which games we're going to go to. Like, we can only go so far with, like, how much help that we have. We have a good amount of help. But, gosh, it's so hard. Like, we want to be at every single game, and it's getting tough to pick.
Yeah, it's that point of the year where it's like, oh, my gosh, this game means so much, this game means so much. And it's a crazy mess. But like you said, a great soap opera. Who needs Love Island when you got Friday Night Lights?
We've got all the action for you right here. And, of course, too, you know, as we get closer to playoffs starting, we'll have all of the coverage for your playoffs, for your district standings. We're excited to see those district champs hold up their trophies. As much as we love to hand out our Game of the Week trophy, we also love to watch our teams celebrate their district trophies as well. So we'll be out there covering all those games, which will most likely, most of those champions will be crowned next week. So excited to see it. Yeah,
awesome. And then we have a lot of programming this week. Tomorrow is a big day. Yeah. We will be 100 days away from the Milan Cortina Olympics, which you can watch on KCEN.
I can't believe that, by the way.
And Peacock. So we're going to have a special tomorrow at 8 o'clock. It will be our Winter Olympic special. You can tune in to watch that. And then after the special, we'll have KCEN kickoff as well. We didn't have an episode last week because they were doing maintenance on our precious streaming center. So
it's back.
We'll catch up on 2 weeks of sports. Yeah. And a lot has happened. I mean, you just think about the NBA and things like that with all the investigations that they've been having. And then, of course, Friday Night Lights on Halloween, trick or treat, and football all in one day. Who could
Doesn't get better.
Yeah. You can't ask for more than that. And then on Saturday, we'll have college football coverage. And then Sunday Night Football on Sunday. You know the drill, Sydney.
Yes, I know. Who's playing this Sunday? Do you know off the top of your head?
I haven't looked.
That's okay. I haven't looked either.
Well, you know what? Let's look it up right now.
Okay, you look it up really quick. I do want to talk about the Olympics while you're looking it up. I cannot believe it's 100 days away. Like, well, I guess 100
tomorrow.
Today, technically.
Seahawks Commanders.
But, okay, that'll be a good one. But, like, it's barely just getting cold here. Like, I feel like it's not allowed to be that way.
I know. I literally just wore a hoodie for the first time today. So.
Crazy.
Yeah, Matt Farrell's got us covered with all the weather stuff, so we can stay warm on Friday. Hopefully, that cold front doesn't last too long. That's coming in. But Sydney, that's all I got. It's been fun. It's going to be a great Halloween for us. So join us on Friday, and we'll see you there.
Friday Night Lights Game of the Week is sponsored by Astound, Members Choice Credit Union, and Hillsborough Ford.